This is a woman that has no real trial or court experience. All we have to look at are her writings. And in her writings, she makes some statements which are questionable, which deserve questions.
Feinstein references a 19-year-old law review article where Barrett writes about the conflict Catholic judges face when they have to enforce the death penalty, but also follow the church's moral teaching. She wrote, "The legal system has a solution for this dilemma. It allows, indeed it requires, the recusal of judges whose convictions keep them from doing their job." And article co-author John Garvey, now president of Catholic University, says, "Our point was that judges should respect the law, even laws they disagree with, and if they can't enforce them, they should recuse themselves." And that's what Barrett told the Senate Judiciary Committee again and again.
It's never appropriate for a judge to impose that judge's personal convictions, whether they derive from faith or anywhere else.
The Senate Judiciary Committee votes on Amy Barrett's nomination as an appeals court judge in a few weeks. If approved, then the full Senate will vote. Lauren?
Jason, you're saying Dianne Feinstein isn't apologizing, even though the presidents of Princeton and Notre Dame have criticized her words. What else is she saying, if anything, in her defense?
Feinstein points out she went to a Catholic school, thinks Catholicism, in her words, is a great religion. Now, the 84-year-old is up for re-election in 2018, but she won't say if she plans to run again.
Well, she did run again. She was re-elected, Bill. And the bottom line is that, well, she got away with what she said. And not only that, and we see this very often in Washington, they say something, Socialist Democrats say things and they double down. If Republicans double down, they are attacked even further. What is your response?
Well, what she said, it's a great religion. What do they think? It's like going in and buying coffee. You walk into the store and there's Folgers. You have that today, or Maxwell House, or chock full of nuts. They just have this attitude that, yeah, it's a great religion. Pick one off the shelf, whatever you need. They don't seem to realize the connection. This is how we relate to the Almighty. This is now with every time Donald Trump says anything, when he calls her crazy Nancy, when he's referring to Pelosi, or I heard him say crooked Hillary during an interview on Fox this morning. These people that the mainstream media are working in conjunction with the Democrat Party. They scream and they yell and they say that this man is divisive and that he has to go. But asking someone, a Catholic, these questions, there was a time in this country, I know that it happened in the 1800s. It shouldn't have. I know that it happened through the early part of the last century, and it should not have. But I thought we got over this in 1960. And they like to talk about how we're a much better country. Well, I guess they don't feel we're a better country, do they? Because they continue to think it's 1963 in the Democrat Party, and that we still have to force everyone to fill out a check for a reparations payment. I guess it doesn't look as if we're going to have any opportunity anytime soon to reunify this country between these leftists and those of us on the traditional side.
No, it doesn't, Bill. I don't see any reunification. I don't see any changes in the way people view the Catholic Church, because they view the Catholic Church no differently than they did during the Reformation. When we were saying the rosary outside of City Hall last November in Rehoboth Beach, for the most part, no one else, no other religions showed up. There's a synagogue not far away. They never showed up. We were speaking for them as much as we were speaking for Catholics. We were speaking for religious freedom, Bill. And none of the other churches stood up for us. None of the other churches backed us. And well, you know what? It is what it is. Catholic bigotry has been around in this country since this country was formed. It's going to be around in this country after this election. The only thing we can do is stand up for our principles and pray for people to understand, pray for changes in people's opinions towards the church. I'm sorry that you don't want to hear this. I'm sorry. The Roman Catholic Church was the church created by Jesus Christ himself. If you don't like to hear that, sorry, but that's the truth.
And I'll leave you with a closing thought on this. And I don't, whether you really have any respect for the Roman Catholic Church or not, the next time they're going to come for someone who's a nominee who might be a strict adherent of the Baptist faith, or someone who is, as I mentioned earlier, LDS Church, These are all people who are evangelicals. This should not preclude you from being able to participate in American life and have that input. So that's the thing you've got to remember. It's the Catholic Church today. It's everyone else tomorrow.
That's right, Bill. Very well said. Well, you have been watching the Boardwalk Potatoes podcast. I'm Jake Smith, near the Rehoboth Boardwalk, the Delmarva Peninsula on the East Coast. Bill Colley, you are out in Idaho. There's so much is going to be said. Bill, we should try to circle back if we can, perhaps midweek, and give an update on what's happening. But clearly, if you are upset about what's going on in this country right now, it's going to get a lot worse in the next several weeks. Lindsey Graham is fighting for his life politically in South Carolina. He is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. It's going to be a very interesting next several weeks. My guess is that President Trump will once again have to have the National Guard patrolling the streets of our nation's capital. I think it's going to get that ugly. It's going to get that dangerous. Bill, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, we'll have barricades set up outside the Supreme Court of the United States. There was the attempt to rush it during the Kavanaugh hearings, and when Kavanaugh was seated, we're going to have to, Washington will become a militarized town.
No question about it. Jake Smith, Bill Colley, Boardwalk Potatoes. This podcast is dated September 25th. We'll be back with you. Keep watching because Bill and I have more of our Boardwalk Potatoes podcast coming your way throughout the days and weeks ahead. Bill, I will talk to you soon.